Alright, and we are ready. Hello friends, it's me, and today, Toothbrush Style Theory. Let's check out $1 versus $300 toothbrush style theory from the style tiers. Together, let's go.
Are your teeth clean? Are you sure they're clean? If you ever wanted to know how much your toothbrush is actually doing to keep your pearly whites pearly white, strap in, friends. Today we're putting 6 of the best-selling toothbrushes to the theorist test to see which brush earns the plaque for fighting plaque. If you compare a $3 toothbrush to a $300 toothbrush, is there really that much of a difference? Will an electric win out over a manual, or will Sonic be able to topple them all? Do all of those different heights and angles of bristles do anything, or is it all just a bunch of marketing hype? And seriously, do we really need to floss? I promise you, friends, the results of today's experiment will have your jaw drop to the floor. And not because of tooth decay. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Style Theory, the show
Hello Internet, welcome to Style Theory.
that 9 out of 10 dentists agree will blow your mind. That 10th dentist, yeah, he was always a bit strange. Let me ask you this, how often are you brushing your teeth? If you're like most of America, you
3, 4, sometimes 5 times for me.
likely answered 2 times a day. According to a 2019 survey, 55% of people say that same thing. As for me, yeah, I'm not in that group.
I gotta admit, not the best toothbrusher. I brush every morning, first thing in the morning, and that's it.
That's right, I am a once-a-dayer and I am proud of it. I am standing here with the 29%. But regardless of whether you're brushing once per meal, once per day, or once per week, one thing we can all agree on is that we want our brushes to be doing the best job possible. There's just one problem with that. There are so many toothbrush options out there. Just search for a toothbrush on Amazon and get ready for an avalanche of choice. It's no longer just deciding if you should use manual or electric anymore. What kind of electric toothbrush? How much pulsing action do you need? Which brush head do you choose? The tri-zone? The cross action? How do sonic toothbrushes factor into all this? And don't even get me started on the new toothbrushes that you see getting promoted in viral ads across social media. With so many options available, how are you possibly gonna pick the one that's actually gonna get your teeth the cleanest? Well, if you're me and you operate a style, fashion, and self-care channel, you convince your partner and 2 other creative directors to bare their teeth, all in the name of science. For 2 weeks, our longest experiment ever on the channels, we tested 6 of the most popular brushes on the market, ranging in price from $3 to $300, all in an effort to see whether your toothbrush actually makes a difference in how clean your teeth get. 15 days of awkward mouth picks later, and we have our results, all ready to share with you today. Is there an
Why do you spend $300 on a single toothbrush? You can use that money to, I don't know, buy a cheap laptop or even buy a not so bad smartphone that I will normally use. My phone costs like less than $100 though. I'm poor. Sorry.
only fans of just teeth picks? Cause oh boy, get ready to get super up close and personal with these pearly whites. Let's meet our contestants, shall we? We have my partner Steph, who brushes twice a day.
In the morning and then at night. When I get up in the morning, first thing, mouth is gross. At night, sometimes I'm brushing for a long time and I'm getting like a really nice deep clean, and other times it's more of a superficial.
Their Style Theory creative director Amy.
I am a compulsive brusher before bed and when I wake up.
From Food Theory creative director Santi.
I'm not a morning brusher. My mornings consist of me rolling out of bed. So once my morning meetings are done and all that, then I'll brush my teeth, and then I'll brush my teeth at night.
And lastly me. You already know how I feel about this.
I think if
not sure if you recognize, I used to not to like brush teeth. Then I went to Korea and Japan, and I've seen people in Korea, they brush teeth a lot of times. I was in the train stations, I was in the streets, bus stops, you name it, restaurants, and in the toilets, in the restaurants, in the squatting down next to the bus stop. Granted, it's on the countryside. I see people brushing their teeth. It's like, hi, 안녕, 안녕하십니까, 안녕하세요. It's like, hi. It's like, wow, they brush a lot of times. I think more than twice per day, which is incredible. And also, fun fact, I asked the dentists. The dentist asked me. I was quite surprised. The dentist asked me, when is the most important time to brush your teeth? And I got to be honest with you, I like morning, I guess. And his answer was no. The most important time to brush your teeth is before you go to bed, because if you go to bed, that means 8 hours of your time, or in which you are not moving your mouth. That means all the bacteria will grow. Whereas in the day, your mouth is moving, there's air coming in, coming out, there's water going out, there's food going out, the bacteria doesn't have time to settle down and germinate. You get the point, right? Is it germs, bacteria? You get the point.
If you're brushing your teeth twice a day, you might have a little too much time on your hands.
So, from what I know is the most important time to brush your teeth, if you have to brush once per day, is at night, in which I get it, people are tired, people are stressed, people are fatigued, no energy, but still, that's the most important time to brush your teeth. I learned it the hard way. I have to pluck out so many teeth. Yeah.
Hey, calm down. It's a bit of an over-exaggeration there. But seriously, I do believe that if you're doing a thorough job brushing twice a day, it seems like overkill to me. But I guess we're gonna
Bro, I do it more than twice per day. I do it 3, 4, 5 times per day.
find out. Anyway, with everyone introduced, let's talk about the test. First, every person is going to stick to their own individual standard brushing schedule, so we're not mixing any extra variable into the mix. We're also all going to be using the same basic fluoride toothpaste to keep the focus solely on the difference between the brushes. For each brush, we standardize the time to the full dentist recommended 2 minutes in length. And then, after the final brush of the day, we're going to chew up a disclosure tablet to see how each brush did. If you've never heard of a disclosure tablet before, it's made to help highlight the plaque that's on your teeth by staining it a bright, easy to see color. Usually you're gonna want to use these things before brushing your teeth so you know where exactly you're trying to brush, but for our experiment today, we're gonna be using it after each brush so it's not affecting where we're targeting in our mouths. We're actually using disclosure tablets made by YouTube's own Dental Digest, the Fat Glob brand. And from there, that's about it. We'll still be allowed to floss and use mouthwash like normal, but only after getting our disclosure results and taking our pictures so as not to taint the results. That way, we're changing one thing and one thing only, and that's the toothbrush. Speaking of brushes, let's talk about that. Steph and I, we usually use the Sonicare by Philips.
It's different than a mechanical toothbrush. You have the one style of mechanical toothbrush that rotates the head back and forth. This one's more of a vibrator that supposedly uses sonic.
Let's keep it family friendly and wholesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Action, just kind of hold the brush to your teeth and let the sonic action do all the work for you, which I don't believe, which is why this test is happening right now.
Santi also likes a vibrating option.
What I normally use is this bad boy, the Oral-B Pulsar something. Sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, to be honest. I like it because it has these yellow rubber things on the side that like are supposed to really help scrub out any stubborn plaque.
Well said, sir. And then we had ourselves Amy, who, to my shock, still uses a plain old manual toothbrush.
I don't buy the cheapest toothbrush, I just buy a nice brush, but I've never actually had like an electric or a sonic toothbrush. I've only ever used manual toothbrushes, which apparently, according to Matt, means that I am a plebeian who has not fully developed as an adult brushing my teeth because I have not upgraded.
Okay, hey, I did not use those exact words, but yeah, I did kind of assume that as you get older, you keep upgrading your toothbrush, kind of like you upgrade a phone. But hey, we'll see who's right soon enough. With Amy on Team Manual, Santi on Team Electric, and Steph and I on Team Sonic, everyone had a horse in this race. Nicely balanced that way. To be as thorough as possible, we'll be testing out 6 different options. In the manual category, we have this cheap generic brush, this dentist recommended multi-bristle head, and the social media sensation, the nano brush. In the electric category, we actually have 2 different heads, the cross action and the tri-zone. And then lastly, we'll be capping it off with the Sonicare. Each toothbrush will get 2 days of testing and will be graded on mouthfeel, ease of use, and of course, how clean it actually gets your teeth. So with everyone feeling super confident about their dental health,
I've had a lot of teeth problems in my life due to a lot of health reasons and just the natural movements of my teeth kind of crunching everything together.
I'm pretty, I guess, insecure with my teeth. I have these little ridges. They came in a little like twisted.
Me too, I got a bit of the insecurity about my teeth, in which I just stopped caring at some point in time. Just like, you know what? So be it. You can see clearly this one, and clearly it's not white all the way through. I'm poor, I do have money. Heck, if you look closely at my teeth, there's a few holes here and there. It takes like $100, $200 per hole. It's gonna cost like $1,000, $2,000 just for everything.
I had like 3 years in a row where I had cavities. It wrecked my dental confidence.
I'm proud of my teeth. I think I have a great
it
smile.
was time to get brushing. But before we get to that, I am so excited to announce that our first ever winter collection just launched over on theorywear.com. We're calling it the Northern Lights collection because it is packed full of things to keep you warm and cozy and bright this holiday season. And there is something for everyone in the mix. For the theorist that's looking to hit the slopes or just look like they're hitting the slopes when in actuality they're at the lodge sipping hot cocoa, we have ourselves ourselves the pastel Aurora Borealis inspired snowsuit that's sure to make people stop and think, whoa, that person is stylish, and they know how to snowboard, even if you don't know how to snowboard. But let's say that you'd rather stay in and have yourself a date night with your special someone. You're in luck again. Your iconic duo will love our iconic duo in the cozy hibernation sweater and the Aurora blazer. No lie, these are actually two of my favorite items in the entire line. And the best part, everything in here is entirely unisex. And this is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what we have available right now at theorywear.com. We've got accessories, we've got suitcases, and yeah, there are still plenty of jackets to go around. That's theorywear.com, or click on that shopping button that you see in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Day one was our control day with a cheap manual toothbrush. Though, I gotta say, once I opened it up, I noticed that the cheap ones really have improved since the last time I shopped around.
This one's got the slight ridges, so it's not your basic just like flat across brush.
The curve's meant to help the brush bristles fit more snugly around your teeth like a prickly hug. But the only way to really know is to test it out, so I loaded it up with some paste and went to town. After 2 minutes of brushing, the results were...
My mouth feels fantastic. Does it feel more great than usual? Yeah, not really, but it feels good. When I was using this one today, the bristles feel slightly firmer. They're labeled as soft, but they felt firmer than my usual bristles. I tend to keep my brush heads on a little bit too long. I don't replace them as frequently as I probably should.
Santi and Amy agreed.
It was fine for like a 50-cent toothbrush.
My mouth feels about the same amount of cleanliness that it normally does when I use like this kind of toothbrush.
Well, Steph was unimpressed with the amount of force that she needed to exert.
I feel like I had to work a lot. Like I really muscled through the teeth, which I feel like is probably not that great for my gums, and also not that great as a brushing experience.
Dentists actually recommend softer bristles for that very reason. Hard bristles are more likely to cause tearing and irritation on your gums, but that's just what we thought about the brush. What about what we could actually see? It was time to pop in our first ever disclosure tablet, and the first thing we noticed wasn't the plaque, it was the taste. The instructions literally read, swish the fluid around in your mouth. What the instructions aren't telling you is that that fluid is just your spit mixed with the powder of the tablet. It is kinda gross. Anyway, once we got over that little hurdle, we were able to assess the damage. And overall, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
I think it did a really good job. I'm actually really impressed with how it did as a basic brush, but there's a couple areas you could see how the bristles weren't able to get into those nooks and crannies.
And looking at our up-close photos, all four of us pretty much got the same results. Clean in the front, but with some plaque that didn't get brushed away on the back teeth. Looking at everyone's ratings, we got surprisingly good results considering we'd only spent $50 on these. So with our control all set, it was time for our Oral-B all-in-one with its crisscrossing bristles.
Day two, new brush. Today we're doing the Oral-B, I've got a bunch of things pointing in a lot of different directions brush.
This guy is the dentist recommended option because the multiple angles are supposed to be better at getting into all those hard to reach areas. Or at least that's what they say. We were about to see if that was true.
Very weighty. It's like I've got a shiv in my hand. Yeah, let's shank some teeth.
The head, also a bit smaller than our control brush.
So if you look at it, the entire bottom portion of this one is like gone from this one.
So how did it do? Well, for me, it was a noticeable upgrade in experience than the control.
First use of this brush relative to the one that we used yesterday, vastly different experience. I could feel all the different angles and bristles. I feel like I got really clean off of this brush, but am I substantially cleaner than yesterday? No. But do I think I did it with less work? Yes.
And I wasn't the only one to notice the difference.
It definitely felt more thorough because the bristles were tighter packed. Because this is a smaller head, it means I can get closer and like more concentrated on each tooth.
Solid handle, good mouthfeel. I'm a satisfied customer.
But there was
The audio is bad on that one.
one person
I think she was in the echo, the toilet, I guess.
who was more than eager to leave a 1-star review.
Not that big of a fan. I almost actually like the basic one better. The bristles are really stiff. I'm not really liking how it feels like brushing. I honestly don't feel like this cleaned my teeth.
Huh, well, there's only one way to find out there, Santi.
It's disclosing time.
After a minute of gargling our own spit, the results were shockingly mixed. Despite me feeling a decent
The Power Rangers reference style theory.
clean, well, Santi and I had completely skipped whole sections of our mouth.
Did I just miss my bottom teeth completely today? I'm wondering if it's my brushing technique or if this is just the failure of the toothbrush that having so many different bristles at so many different angles, like it's not as focused.
It looks so much worse today. It didn't get like in between my teeth. There's a lot more buildup in these front teeth. Already I know, like I was trying to brush even more today, knowing how yesterday went.
It felt better, but the brush was worse.
On the opposite end, Steph had almost no stains on her teeth. Amy, she was ready to ditch her old brush for this new one right away.
I would definitely use this toothbrush again. I definitely like it more than the generic toothbrush, which is a fun little thing to find out.
And see, these mixed results are exactly why we wanted to use each brush more than once. It helped us adjust to the learning curve of using a new brush. But even after a second day and a decently insightful conversation,
What would you rate this one on day one?
I rate it more like a 7.5.
Oh, it's a 7. Uh-huh.
the results for us were still divided. As the tablets revealed, Santi and
I just like it that they're able to understand each other.
I were still struggling to get to the back molars, even after adjusting our technique. Amy, the manual toothbrush truther that she is, managed to get back there and have the best results of the bunch. And Steph, she was right there in the middle. And this time, the ratings showed just how divided we were on mouthfeel. I felt my teeth were just as clean as they were on the normal brush. Santi thought it was worse, and Steph and Amy thought it was better. Though, let's be real, Santi just really hated this brush.
I didn't like it.
We can tell, Santi, we can tell. Up next, the one you've probably seen all across your social media feeds lately, the Nano. This brush has been making waves across the internet, so congratulations there, guys. Your online marketing strategy worked, and I got one. Spoiler alert, it's not a great thing for you. For those of you who haven't seen the ads, the Nordic-inspired Nano toothbrush's whole shtick is that it has itself thousands of bristles. 12,000, if the website's to be believed. To give you an idea of how much that is, your average toothbrush is about 2,500 bristles, so this guy is thick. And theorists, in total and complete honesty, it is also so incredibly soft.
Oh, this texture is delicious.
But that softness is coming in at a steep price, costing roughly 5 times what our other manual toothbrushes did. So how did it feel to brush our teeth with a cloud of bristles? Well, it was like touching air, which turns out is not a great thing when you're trying to brush your teeth.
Huh. It's like too soft.
You can't even tell what it's touching.
I don't feel it, which is nice, because it's not like scratching my gums.
Well, it was certainly nice to have a break from the tougher bristles of the previous brushes. None of us could even tell if it was doing any cleaning. Even Power Arms Amy over there was struggling.
It's hard to brush.
And from there, all it took was one berry-flavored tablet to reveal the truth.
Oh, yuck. Oh, that's so gross.
That's terrible.
Yup, pretty much did nothing. Santi and I had pink teeth because the soft bristles weren't able to apply enough pressure to remove the buildup. Steph and Amy were able to get a better clean with the same exact brush, but all of us were left feeling like our mouths were still dirty.
Premium hair holding technique.
How'd you put it, Steph?
Really? Ew.
It feels like I'm brushing my teeth with like a sock.
Yeah, not really the sensation I'm looking for out of my toothbrush. I guess there is such a thing as being too soft. After day 2's results wound up looking much the same, it became clear that this thing was all hype, right down to the claim of being Nordic inspired.
That's my other question. What makes this Nordic?
Yeah, I had a question about that too, Amy, so I went onto their website to see whether I could find something, anything about how this toothbrush is inspired by the lands of Scandinavia, Finland, Iceland, anywhere, and I found nothing. There was nothing on the website that explained why this toothbrush full of soft, plushy lies is Nordic inspired, and at 3 times the price of our dentist recommended manual toothbrush, I can confidently tell you to
Just say nano to the nano brush.
After 2 days of suffering through the nano brush, all of us were eager to move on to our next category, electric. Nowadays, most people, including most dentists, consider electric toothbrushes to be superior to manual brushes due to how the bristles vibrate and rotate, basically doing the brushing for you. But would that actually show in our test results? We went with the basic popular Oral-B base that would let us test out 2 very different types of heads, starting with the dentist recommended option, the cross action. Like our manual option, it had a mix of angled bristles to help get into those crevices. And let me tell you, we were shook by this thing. Literally shook.
This is like a really unpleasant vibration.
This toothbrush chose violence.
Steph and I felt like we had just put a jackhammer into our mouths, but maybe the results would be worth the violence?
You're brushing individual teeth. Look, I missed a tooth.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, not quite.
The bottoms are good. I spent a ton of time on the
I
bottom.
did notice that you started on the bottoms and you focused on the bottom.
Yeah, but by the time I got to the top, I was like either running out of time or running out of patience, and I literally skipped a tooth, and you can see exactly where it is.
It seemed like the smaller head forced us to be more conscious of hitting each and every tooth individually.
I don't feel like I had a good understanding of how to use it. I still want to go through the normal acts of brushing and doing all of that, which I think maybe is not exactly what I should be doing with this brush.
Instead of the broad strokes that worked for the manual brushes, this small circular head meant that we had to go around each tooth one by one, or else we'd miss it entirely.
This will be the most successful one. But what I'm realizing that it's coming down to is like 70% brush, but 30% technique. I feel like tomorrow I'll probably have gotten my technique down pat a little bit more with this brush.
And credit where credit's due, Santi did exactly that.
Today, my mouth feels a lot cleaner. I feel like I actually hit everything. I just feel it. Top teeth, definitely cleaner. Not the cleanest that they've been with other brushes, specifically the basic brush. The basic brush is coming through, man.
But while he was busy celebrating, the rest of us, yeah, we weren't so sure.
But I don't really feel any better about this one than I did about the other normal Oral-B. The crisscross bristles really seem to do a lot for it, and I like having the smaller surface area to really get each tooth individually. The electricness of it doesn't make a ton of difference to me.
And that was far from Amy's only issue.
They don't fit in my cabinet. But to do that, I have to disassemble it and stick it in a different place, which is just, you know, a level of inconvenience that I don't need in my toothbrush routine when I'm getting up at like 5 in the morning, brushing my teeth in the dark.
Sorry, Amy, but with great power comes great responsibility, like having to disassemble your brush. In the end, our teeth
Oh my gosh, Spider-Man reference.
felt very clean, but it wasn't the easiest to use. We felt rushed because we had to take more time on each individual tooth. And the disclosure tablet showed that while we could certainly get a better, deeper clean, it required a level of skill that we had yet to truly master. Overall, that put the electric crisscross at number 2 on the overall leaderboard. And it was here that all of us really started to hit a wall. None of us had predicted the strain and frustration that would come with having to film ourselves every day brushing our teeth, chewing on powdery disclosure tablets, getting jump scared by giant close-up photos of our teeth every time we opened our phone. But we had to press on. For science, for views, and for your dental hygiene. Onward to the, what was this one called again?
Yeah, so this is the Triforce, which just feels like I'm saying the Try Guys.
Zelda Triforce.
One of the Trifold.
The Tri-Zone. This one made our shortlist for one reason and one reason only. It does something that no other brush on this list can do. It brushes side to side. Or I suppose it would be up and down if you're holding the whole thing sideways. Dentists believe that oscillating toothbrushes
Wait.
Try Guys. One of the Trifold.
The Tri-Zone. This one made our shortlist for one reason and one reason only. It does something that no other brush on this list can do. It brushes side to side. Or I suppose it would be up and down if
Even cat head. Aw, so cute.
you're holding the whole thing sideways. Dentists believe that oscillating toothbrushes, meaning ones that physically rotate or move, work far better than ones that are just there vibrating. But what this test was quickly showing me was that dentists, yeah, they're gonna recommend anything.
It reminds me of the other big brush that we did, the big manual brush. The size difference, all I have to do is sweep it across my teeth and it feels like it's getting pretty much most of the bulk of my tooth. After having such a small head in the previous version of this, I actually miss it because I liked the small precision head.
But Amy and Santi weren't so nostalgic. In fact, for the first time in the entire experiment, Santi seemed to finally be enjoying his life again.
This is my favorite so far. Miles away better than anything else. Because I get like a full toothbrush head, unlike the other one, which is a tiny, like this tiny, like circular thing. I hate the motion of this head. This one, because it goes side to side, you really feel like it's getting every nook and cranny between your teeth.
It's interesting. Santi was our Team Electric boy at the start of the episode, and with this brush being the most similar to his usual brush, starting to notice a pattern here, but we needed a bit more evidence. Let's see what the disclosure tablet told us.
It's actually not cleaned as well as I thought it did. You know, here on the sides, there's still a decent amount of plaque. Overall, it seems like my teeth did not get as cleaned.
And while Santi was dealing with his crippling disillusionment, he wasn't alone. We all had similar issues.
Looks like it was missing spots here, and I don't know if that's a user error versus like the toothbrush being super bad. This is why we do it for more than one day. I think I'm going to try to make sure I'm a little bit more thorough next time, now that I kind of can see where my natural tendencies miss.
Like the last brush head, we felt like we needed to slow down to get a thorough cleaning. And so moving into day 2, we tried our best to adjust the technique. And once again, we found our results to be mixed across the board.
I think this is a matter, though, of just getting used to this brush and using it more than just 2 days. Because already from yesterday to today, I feel like the teeth are cleaner. These bottom teeth have always been the problem children. I would say this is the cleanest that they've gotten.
Too bad the rest of us couldn't say the same. Amy, our electric brush newbie, was particularly frustrated, not just because she couldn't figure out how to charge it, but because she didn't think her results were any better than normal.
It doesn't feel any better than the manual toothbrush. I like the idea of it. Can't say that it's currently blowing my mind in execution.
And as we drew closer to the end of the experiment, I was starting to worry. None of the brushes were doing a perfect job. I was starting to spiral.
Is the moral of this story gonna be that flossing is required?
Oh no.
That would be the worst.
No!
But we had one final shot, one last brush that could save the whole thing. The one that I'd been championing since the beginning. Could the Sonic Hair, the brush that Steph and I have been using for years, finally be the plaque-killing hero? There was only one way to find out. From the outside, the Sonic Hair looks pretty similar to an electric toothbrush, but what separates the Sonic from just the plain old electric is that these babies gotta go fast. Electric toothbrushes can rotate a few thousand times a minute, but the Sonic brush is vibrating at tens of thousands of times a minute. Obviously, the faster is gonna be the better here, right? From all my research, Sonic toothbrushes mainly have one type of head, the kind that vibrates side to side rather than rotating. And since we already learned dentists recommend a brush that rotates rather than simply vibrating, this could finally be the thing that proves that dentist recommendations are a joke. Oh, and speaking of jokes, what could be funnier than wearing some ridiculously long nails? Yeah, if you're wondering what's going on with my nails in this clip, that's for another style theory that we've got cooking up for later this year. So just make sure that you're subscribed for that one. Don't you just love it when experiments overlap with each other?
So that was my toothbrushing.
Yep, subscribe. Thank you.
That's with my normal toothbrush. I'm pretty happy with that. I feel pretty good. I feel like I get a good sense of clean, and I feel like of all the toothbrushes, this likely has the best shot of getting into the crevices because the fast vibrations feel like it gets deeper into the tooth, but I guess the disclosure tab will ultimately be the judge of that one.
And what a harsh judge it was. The front teeth looked okay, but when it came to the back and the gaps between my teeth, the Sonic Hair was just a swing and a miss. And it wasn't just me.
Did not like that at all. It was very aggressive.
By God, is that a very violent feeling toothbrush. This thing goes hard and does it very quickly. This thing is just very intense and splattery. I still don't quite get the hype around it. Matt and Stephanie, they like really sold this thing up. Like they hyped it up, they were committed, they were all in on this toothbrush, and it doesn't feel that different to me than my manual toothbrush.
This was getting embarrassing. I was certain that the Sonic Hair would come out on top, but the disclosure result tablets didn't lie. The Sonic Hair wasn't leaps and bounds ahead of every other brush. It was just okay.
It's fun enough. I think it's a cute idea, but it doesn't, for me, change how I brush my teeth. It doesn't really brush my teeth any better.
And she had a point. Across all her disclosure results, Amy stayed very consistent. In fact, she had more plaque when using the Sonic Hair. Santi, same thing.
It's nice, it's fancy, sure, but is it really doing that much of a job? I'm gonna say that this is the biggest disappointment. I knew the Nano wasn't gonna be the best one. I was excited for it, but I think this was the biggest disappointment. Definitely not worth the money if this is the most expensive one.
Even me, I brushed to the best of my ability. My fate as a hygiene expert depended on it. I used everything that I'd learned throughout this whole experiment. I had so much at stake here. I had to prove that my toothbrush was the best, and I failed.
So it's not looking great, especially bottom front. Not fantastic. Where it's missing the stuff in the front.
It actually missed a little bit of mine too.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm left with egg on my face and in my teeth. And looking at the scores, the Sonic Hair technically takes the top spot, but I think Steph and I both rating our personal toothbrush higher skewed those results. So let's
Yeah, there's a bit of biasness.
take a closer look at the data to try and figure out what is going on here. Because right now, I feel more confused about what actually works than when we first started. When we break down our scores, we start to get a clearer picture. For mouthfeel, it was tied between the Sonic Hair and the Tiny Head electric brush, which isn't a surprise when you think that this category category has more to do with what you think the brush is doing rather than actual results. As we saw time and time again, we all thought that the electric and the sonic brushes were doing more cleaning than they actually were. They felt better. They had a lot of aggressive vibration, and the smaller head made it feel like we were more in control of the clean that we were getting, targeting different sections of our mouth, making the whole thing feel more precise and thorough than it actually wound up being. When it came to ease of use, all of us were biased in favor of the toothbrush that we used most regularly. This, more than anything so far, proves to me that when it comes down to it, practice really makes a huge difference with how successful a toothbrush is.
So there is a learning curve. I know when I first gave my parents an electric toothbrush, mirror, dead, toothpaste everywhere.
But when it came down to the category that mattered the most in this entire episode, actual cleanliness of your teeth, the clear winner was the manual Oral-B all-in-one brush by far. Not electric, not sonic, a manual toothbrush with just a few extra bristles. The dentist recommended option. And I had an idea as to why.
I think what's happening is we had the best luck with the manual bristle brushes. I think we did.
No.
And I think the reason why is because we were the ones controlling it. All of these mechanical brushes are like, oh, let the brush do the work. Put it on the outside and it's gonna vibrate. So you kind of go easy on your teeth. Whereas the manual toothbrushes, you kind of crank down on it, right? You're like going a little extra hard. The good of that is that you're getting between the teeth a little bit better. The bad of that is that it's really hard on your teeth and gums. So you're caught in this kind of like no-win scenario of using brushes like the Sonic Hair or the Oral-B, which might be feeling like they're giving you a better clean and might be better for your gum line, great, but aren't getting between the teeth. Whereas the manuals, I think, are doing a better job of getting between the teeth, but maybe not getting the gums as well as you might want, and are just harder on your teeth and harder on your gums.
And that, once again, comes down to technique and time. Because the manual toothbrush requires you to go in and do the work yourself rather than relying on a motor, you are getting better results.
I don't think you have to spend a ton of money. I think you just have to devote the time and skill practice to it.
And Amy's not wrong here. The results that we got from the $4.50 all-in-one were at the same level, and often even better than what we were getting from the electric and sonic brushes that cost literally hundreds of dollars more. So where does that leave us really? What's the big takeaway? Well, for one, the more money you're spending doesn't mean you're necessarily getting a better clean. But I think the bigger story here is that if most of us, like me and Steph and Santi, all struggle to get into those deep crevices between your teeth, then a toothbrush alone ain't gonna cut it. My worst fear came true. This episode, more than any talk to a dentist I've ever had in my life, proved once and for all the necessity of flossing. As far as I can tell, there's no other sufficient way to get the plaque that's building up in the gaps between your teeth.
Now, what this whole thing has done, just like every other big hygiene-related style theory has done so far, is it opens the door to a whole new sub-series where now we gotta test out water picks versus floss.
I guess that's a positive for more episodes in the future, but for now, it's just got...
Wait a minute, let's...
Now, what this whole thing has done, just like every other big hygiene-related style theory has done so far, is it opens the door to a whole new sub-series where now we gotta test out water picks versus floss.
I guess that's a positive for more episodes in the future, but for now, it's just got me looking down in the mouth. Until next time, remember, it's all just a theory. A style theory. Keep on brushing. And if you're looking to optimize more of your routine, check out the box on the left to learn about how to get the best shave. Or click the box on the right to learn why keeping your makeup in the bathroom is the single worst choice you could possibly make. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go delete gigabytes full of teeth photos from my phone. But wait, really, is there an OnlyFans market for teeth pics? Steph, I think I got our next thing.
Okay, what? But hey, that's just a theory, a style theory. Keep looking sharp. Keep brushing. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much. Subscribe. Like truly, thank you so much, all of you. Bye bye. Thank you so much.